There we go.
Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, and welcome to the Blurring the Lines podcast, episode 245. And I just realized that intro order that I'm doing is wrong because it's not chronologically right, nor is it alphabetically right.
It's blurry.
It is a blurry intro, but before I forget, my name is Peter Nikolaidis. I am your host of the Blurring the Lines podcast, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Adam Bell.
Adam Bell, yeah. My name is in the correct order.
Yes, both. Yeah, I mean, Adam Bell, A.B., that is right. Peter Nikolaidis, one could say I could be Nikolaidis Peter, right? But if we, here in the States, we generally do first name, last name. So I'm okay with that right now.
Mm-hmm. Peter of the Nikolaidises.
It could be, yes.
Nikolaidi.
It should really be maybe like alphabetically good afternoon, good evening, or good morning. But I think I'm going to probably, now that we've tried this for 245 episodes, I think I'm going to switch it up and make it good morning, good afternoon, or good evening moving forward. How does that grab you?
I am apathetic.
I love a good dose of apathy, especially this time of year. Morning. So, Adam, Happy New Year.
Thanks.
As we're recording this, it is January 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
It took us relatively little fiddling to get our audio issues out of the way as we started recording. That said, we always have some audio issues.
A little fiddle.
I am using, so I did not bring a laptop with me. I'm in Vermont today.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, oh, you know what? I can't, can I change? Oh, I can. Let me just, is it still Christmas somewhere? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to just give myself a background here. There we go. I'm coming to you from Vermont, and I did not bring a laptop with me because I'm like, I've got my Mac Mini up there. I've got an iPad, an iPhone. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I failed in my previous call with my financial advisor to connect my iPhone as the camera for WebEx.
Mm-hmm.
I also failed to connect my iPhone as the camera in a test FaceTime call. Neither of those was working. Google Chrome was like, hey, you don't have a camera. Do you want to grab the one from your iPhone, or use, I was just like, or something else on your Google account? I'm like, yeah, I kind of do. And it just worked. So Google kicking Cisco and Cisco WebEx, or is that Citrix? I totally forget now. Cisco, I think. Yeah. Citrix
WebEx is meeting. Yeah.
Google beating both Apple and Cisco in the camera continuity space today. So yeah, it worked really well. Yeah. So how about you? What was your audio challenge and how did you overcome it?
My standard audio challenge, which makes zero sense whatsoever, is my headset was not picking up. Even though I could select it, it was only coming through my speakers no matter what in my monitor. So I unplugged the USB dongle and plugged it into a different port in the same USB hub, and ta-da, it works.
Brilliant.
I know. And that happens to me. On my other computer, which is a Mac, this is a Windows computer, I have the same problem on it from time to time. I just unplug the dongle, plug it back in a different port, and it comes back up.
Beautiful. Just beautiful.
And they're different headsets too. So it's not like it's not the headset. It's just technology.
Yep.
I need to. It's that automatic COM port and bus that's happening for us. It's
yeah.
Most people don't even know what that is.
Well, there you go. Well, let's talk about some good things.
Good things.
Yeah. Let's start the new year with maybe. It's going to be so hard. I've done it before, though. I'm going to resolve to be more positive in 2026.
I think that you should.
I think that I should too.
And I will too.
Okay. I wasn't fishing for accountability buddies, but you have been, I will say you've probably been my most reliable accountability buddy to date. And that all that really has been is like a co-tracker of things, right? You've never, like when we were doing, say, push-ups challenge, right? You'd remind me, right? But it was like 11 o'clock my time, I would get a note and you would say like 80. I'm like, oh crap, I didn't do any push-ups today, but Adam just did, right? So just like being around, you were my accountability buddy. Which is good. But you haven't, like when we were in a marketing group together, for instance, there wasn't, I thought that there was going to be more not brutal, but more, direct honesty. Like, dude, you need to sit down today, spend 4 hours on this campaign, push this out. Right. But the coach that we had wasn't really his style.
Yeah.
He was more like, oh, okay, well, you haven't done that. I was like, okay, great. Well, I guess that's where we're at. Okay, fine. Which is a little more, because sometimes I need a kick in the pants to get moving, for some things, and I didn't really have that. You were able to overcome that. Well, that was not your hindrance,
Yeah.
So, but I'm putting a recurring reminder to my daily reminders right now to seek an opportunity. I'm just going to be positive. That's all. If I could get so, verbose and stuff like that. And that's just, no, I'm not. I'm just going to say, there it is. It's there. Repeat daily. Be positive every day, every morning.
So I'll send you a PDF that I generated. So the Traveler's Gift. Did you read that book?
I have not read it. It is on my list.
So one of the breakdowns, step or item number 5. It's not a spoiler because there's nothing in here in the book that you haven't heard, But one of the points is, today I will choose to be happy. Happiness is a choice, not a condition. Gratitude, forgiveness, and perspective determine emotional well-being more than circumstances. So that's one of my reminders. Like, some days I'll wake up, I'm like, meh, and I'm like, I'm good. No, today I'm going to be happy. So, and I think that we actually have, in general, done a better job on the podcast. There were some episodes, I feel like a long time ago and years ago, that we were like, oh, this is negative. This product stinks. This is do better. And then I was like, hey, let's just change the attitude. And I didn't really intentionally say anything to you about it. I just stopped doing it and it changed how we did these. And I'm like, hey, let's not go negative today.
And I did that with my running buddy a few years ago. We were out and I knew there was, there's negative self-talk and then there's just negative talk. And we would constantly be, doing this terrible, like grumbling about how, oh, this sucks. This hill is terrible. Oh, it's so hot today. Blah, blah, blah. And one day I was just like, okay, I'm done. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just gonna, if I may think it, I may feel it, but I'm going to try to not talk about, negative stuff. And we went on a run, and I know he was doing it a little bit, but he was markedly lower because I wasn't feeding into it also. And I mentioned that, and I said at the end, I was like, so did you notice something? And he was like, what? I said, I didn't complain at all. And he's like, I didn't notice that, but now that you mention it, yeah. And it helps, So I would appreciate if, when you catch me doing that, if you would call me out.
Do it. I'll do it.
Right. Like there's a difference between, ow, this hurts, and this hurts. It's always going to hurt. This sucks. I'm a man, really, so
I don't know why I run. I hate running.
Yeah. Well, that's the joke, right? One of my favorite books on running is called I Hate Running, and You Can Too. And the author opens it up, Brendan Leonard, he opens with like, I hate running. Sometimes I hate running 5 or 6 times a week. And,
So
anyway, I don't hate running. That's the thing, is like, I have a lot less of that going on, a lot less of why do I do this?
Mm-hmm.
I felt it definitely during the race. I felt a lot of like, okay, is this going to be my last real long run? I don't know and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at I've got my eyes set on a marathon in November, and so it's only half the distance I ran back last November, but still, it's a
Yeah.
marathon. So,
There you go. Yeah. That's a little easy. It's just a marathon.
just a
It's
marathon. Yeah, I've done twice this. I've done twice this in a single day, right? So speaking
yeah.
of distances run, let's talk about that. This past year, and keep in mind that this was my first year, no surgeries in 2
Mm-hmm.
years. I ran 1,010 miles past year in 2025.
I wish I had an
Um,
effects thing. Could do it. Yay!
well, I mean, soundboard, you can add some cheers. You need a good audio editor.
yeah.
Insert, hey, Scott Wilsey, could you throw a special effects into this for us? Thanks. No, I managed to do it. And again, this year, the times when I had run more than 1,000 miles, because I've done that a couple years in the past and previously, I had been mostly like just doing my own thing, running however I wanted to, whenever I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And this time was the first time for, close to 6 months, I was running a formal running plan.
Yeah.
And so that actually constrained me a lot because I was running a lot less than I had been running when I built my own plan.
Mm-hmm.
So towards the end of the year, was what, December 20th, I realized I was at 970 miles, according to one source. Now, here's the thing. I use a few health apps. One of them is called Health Fit.
Mm-hmm.
I have come to realize that the numbers it's been showing me are unreliable because one day I was at 998 miles run for the year, not the last 12 months, but year to date. The next day it was 989, and then it dropped down to 973. So, and I'm pretty sure I was not running in reverse. And I'm pretty sure I was not running so fast that I was going back in time. So, not sure exactly what happened there, but it was dubious. So then I went to Strava and I was able to just get my year to date, even though Strava is doing their best to get everybody to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They've the way they used to do it is they added extra features. Like, hey, if you pay a subscriber, you get all these things.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're like, hey, if you don't pay, you don't get these things. And it's
Value.
like, it's really hard just to even see what have I done this month. But I was able to click through and avoid the pop-ups and prompts and whatnot to find my year in review.
Mm-hmm.
And I hit 1,000 miles this past Saturday. So just over a week ago.
Good job.
Yeah, so I was pretty happy with that. And that's aggregate of trail runs, treadmill runs, and road running.
I'd be interested to know what your other miles are, like how many other miles you complete. Because I just checked my fitness, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't run. I only run during CrossFit workouts, and for the
Right.
most part, at most we may run 1.5 miles, and that is interval running. So it's
Yes.
split in between. So I measured mine, and I'm averaging 5 miles a day for the last year, which is 1,825 miles. So
That's walking, running, everything
yeah,
combined.
that's my whole thing combined. But I would say that my running, probably 10 miles of that. I don't know how many times we run in CrossFit, but it's not a ton. I mean,
and when you track it, you're tracking with the Apple Watch, and you just say, I'm starting a CrossFit workout or a cross training workout, or what do you do? How do you track
that's a good point. It's probably not tracking anything that I run in CrossFit because I do high interval training when I'm running, and I bet it, but it does count distance and miles that I move.
It'll count your steps all around, right? So that's one thing you can do is if you set aside all running and walking distances, you should, well, your phone, the Apple Health app should still be able to just tell you like
Yeah.
distances walking and running together.
Yeah, because that is what it's showing. Is it's showing distance for walking and running. Yeah, so that should be
Yeah.
the CrossFit distance
Yep.
in there. Mhm.
Now, what you have is an advantage, though, because as I've discussed previously on the podcast last September, I realized that Garmin is being a little generous because it adds distances, not steps, but it adds walking and running distance while I'm asleep.
Yeah.
I
And I am so impressed that you walk and run in your sleep.
I'm every hour of every day, I'm moving. I don't think I've looked since I got the new Garmin. I think I did. I think I saw the same behavior with the new Garmin Forerunner 965, which I don't think has shown up on this podcast yet.
Mhm.
So this is
No.
the first appearance of my upgraded. So I went from the 955 to the 965. I'm saving the tech aspects of that review for the Friends with Brews podcast. But like the health impact and stuff I'll talk about here. But
You
one
don't
of those, yeah,
you don't have restless feet syndrome, do you?
not that I know of. Because you got to remember, it only happens when I wear a Garmin watch to sleep. When I wear an Apple Watch, it doesn't happen.
Because
Anyway,
my wife at times has that. Her foot will just twitch at night and kick about. And I don't have that. I mean, and she doesn't have it all the time. It's just kind of weird.
yep. So we started talking about resolutions, and I already did
Mhm.
mine. I didn't even realize you had added that to things to talk about on the list. So mine is to be positive. You have a few things. What's on yours?
Yeah. So I mentioned CrossFit. I want to, and it's been recorded. Over my 9 years at CrossFit, I have over 1,000 some odd classes attended. But I want to attend this year 150 times. So I only did like 103 this year. So I'm going to try to hit 150. So that's really reasonable. That's 3 classes a week.
Yep.
On average, because I'll have weeks of travel in Mexico and 50, so I think that's a very doable thing. So that'll be good.
Okay. I want to put a mileage goal, but my coach will definitely have an impact on that. And since I'm currently targeting 10K for the spring, the mileage I run is going to probably be a lot less than I would if I was targeting another marathon or another ultra. So I think making a mileage goal for the year is probably not, that might not work. I need to double check on that, what my estimated miles per year would be, or per week or whatnot. But I do want to resolve to continue strength training twice a week. I want to try to get yoga in twice a week. Now, here as the yoga instructor, my yoga attendance has gone down significantly because other stuff has been going on. And this is a common thing when people start teaching yoga, their yoga practice often suffers a little as well. Unless they become like a full-time yoga instructor, it's pretty common for them to to attend less. And like right off the bat, one of my slots for when I would normally be attending was one where I was teaching. And yes, I still do it and stuff, but there's definite difference, to attending a class and focusing on yourself versus teaching a class and focusing on what you're teaching and, how you can help your students if they need it.
Right.
So I think I need to, I don't know how to best do it, but I need to, I want to commit to yoga and strength training every week without exceptions. So I need to, I'm going to put that in. I'm putting that down.
Yep.
And I already have, a weekly reminder. So on Monday, I have a reminder. It goes off Monday morning or Sunday afternoon to schedule yoga, strength, and running for the coming week. And the nice part is using my training, my coach's training plan is, I can look at a glance and say, okay, these are the things I have to do. I just need to block off time in the calendar So, I book it around work and other events. And also I look at the weather. Today, for instance, I'll be running right after this podcast around noon Eastern, because it's going to be hopefully the warmest at that time. We've gotten up into the double digits right now, which is progress.
Yep.
So yeah. All right. So yoga and strength for me every week. I'm not putting a number on it. At least once, right? I mean, I go to the gym with my trainer at least once a week, and I generally do at least one home strength training session.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm putting that on the list. So there we go.
Yeah. So yoga, I plan on doing that twice a week, intentionally doing that twice a week. So if I go to CrossFit 3 times a week, that leaves my 2 days a week for my yoga. And I'm sure that you notice I do yoga. I do about 15 minutes of yoga. There's no great mark on my watch for stretching. So I am doing yoga, but I'm really doing a morning stretch routine.
Mobility. There should be mobility is the workout you want there. I put that in whenever it's not, there's no Om Namaste, that kind of stuff. I use mobility. And
so maybe I'll do that, because I can't just start into a squat clean without warming up at 5 a.m. in the morning.
Well, I occasionally I will roll out of bed and go into a low squat. Yeah, I'm not cleaning and jerking and lifting and stuff, but I'll just squat down real low. Even that, if I start my day like that, and I didn't today, and I really kind of wish I had, I feel the difference. There's this woman I follow on YouTube. I'll put a link in the show notes. She does it's called the Moves Method. That's her. I think it's movesmethod.com, but I'll put a link for sure. And I see her on YouTube all the time. A lot of her stuff, like she's a trainer, and obviously she's got her big thing, but her big thing is like the low squats and dead hangs and a bunch of other mobility movements that keeps you young and stuff. And one morning I started with her 9-minute morning workout, and I felt like I was just floating down the stairs. It was amazing. Like there were normally, and I had run the previous day and stuff. And usually if I've done a strength routine or running the day before, a significant run, getting down the stairs can be a little, ankle might be a little tight, knees are a little wonky, hips are a little tight and stuff. And I did this thing and I was just like, wow, it's pretty impressive. So, yeah.
Let me ask you about your dead hang real quick. Are you engaged or are you hanging?
That depends. So sometimes when I'm thinking about my trainer at the gym, I'm engaged and I'm locking the shoulders down. My right shoulder and the whole, scapular area and stuff is not as good as the left, because I'm still, recovering from surgery and stuff. Even though it's been more than a year out since then. But some days when I'm just working on grip strength, I just hang, and that's all I'm really, factoring on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they are two completely, not completely separate, but they are two separate things. Being engaged is one thing, and then sometimes I just want to hang to let everything stretch out,
to decompress. Yes.
Decompress. So I got to hold, and I'm just letting it all.
Yeah, I do that. I have an inversion table at my place in Medford, and I've gotten out of the habit of using that. But that does, I think pretty much the same thing, decompressing the spine, because it flips you over.
Yeah.
So yeah, it depends on the intention, but I do a combination of just focusing on grip strength, which is also, I try to relax the upper and lower body. And then other times I will engage, the lats and, the scapular area and stuff, and try to focus on that, on shoulder and upper back strength. So yeah. So the answer is it depends.
Yep. Cool. And then I'm quantifying my fitness this year. I want to do a little bit better with that. But then, the other thing that I want to do, and this is going to be kind of hard for me because I'm going to have, is journaling.
Yep.
I want to do some journaling, and journaling is hard for me because I also don't want somebody to read it. I want to be able to freely journal without it being read.
So that can be done, right? Number one, if you physically have a journal, you can keep it locked up.
Mm-hmm.
You could journal and then tear it up and throw it away. If the intention is just to put stuff down, but if you ever tend to look back at it again, that's kind of hard.
Mm-hmm.
I got into this habit a little under a year ago, about 10 months ago. I was journaling pretty consistently and doing a daily gratitude practice, and I fell out of that habit. But I do it on the iPad, and I do that. That's one of the reasons I bought an upgraded iPad, because it was better pencil support, and so I had it, and I don't know that I noticed any results. It was kind of fun, but at one days when it was busy, it was just like another thing on my to-do list.
Yeah.
And if I don't feel quick, if not immediate results, I don't keep doing something. It's like taking your vitamins and stuff. So I fell out of that habit of journaling and a daily gratitude practice. But I will say I do like doing it on an iPad, with the Apple Pencil. It's a good experience, and you can encrypt the notes.
Yeah, and I think that might work for me, because I might, like I said, keep those, because to me there's two different types of journaling. There's my personal journal, which we were kind of talking about there, and sometimes if I have a problem, and if I just say it out loud in writing, it helps me work through the problem, or where I'm having a malfunction. Because a lot of times I find that the problem is me, not.
I mean, let's be honest, right? The problem is almost always me. Right?
Yeah.
I'm helping a lady friend right now who has 2 dogs. The dogs are aggressive. They fight, and they're not house trained. And guess who the problem is? It's not the dogs, right? So last weekend, I had one of the dogs with me at my place in Vermont. Within a matter of hours, we had pretty much trained him to go pee outside. It was just a matter of enforcing, and we had to be diligent. We had to watch the dog and then train him and stuff. This time we're back in Vermont with both dogs, and now the trick is trying to house train the older dog, which is harder, but also trying to train the younger dog not to attack his older brother.
Yeah,
which is also hard, because they're essentially they're fighting for dominance over her. And when it comes to the dog, she's pretty passive and pretty submissive, and they're like, okay, I got to be alpha now. And so now we've thrown me into the mix, and they're like, who the hell are you? And then they're like, oh, this guy's the alpha dog. Okay, well, I'm gonna still try to start a fight. Oh, son of a, I can't do a fight. So it's like, it's constant. If you want to be on high alert, do a good job training a dog.
Yeah,
it's work.
But so the other aspect of journaling is a documentation of facts and experience, and I am interested in that. So it's not so much about what I learned about myself as much as remembering things that I did and either accomplished or was part of, or something that I really enjoyed or experienced. Keeping track of that experiences, because I'm reading. I was almost finished with it, but kind of got to a boring spot, and I've got to finish it. It's 1929. It's about the stock market crash.
Right. You mentioned that.
A lot of the the points or the stories told were from these brokers' diaries. So the only way that knowledge was retained was what by these they're all men. So by these men
Right. Yeah.
writing down
Women didn't do money.
their well, yeah, it was a male dominated. That at that time women were not considered mentally capable of handling money thoughts. I mean, then, not today, dear listener, and those are not my thoughts.
There are plenty of people who have that mindset today.
Yeah, misogyny's not gone.
Misogyny is not gone, and it's actually quite popular in a certain political party these days. Okay, I'm going to remain positive and hope
Yeah,
that, you know what? And that can change.
and that can change. Yeah, no, it's funny. So I'll joke with my wife. My wife loves to read. She's an avid reader. She reads a lot of books, and she'll read anything. She'll read history. She'll read, where I get bored with some things, but she'll read. And I said, baby, you don't need to read. You're pretty. And of course, she knows I'm joking.
Yeah. Oh, I get that. Yeah. It's good that you can have those jesting sessions. Oh man. All right, what's next?
All right, let's see. So you mentioned cold plunge.
I did cold plunges. Yes.
Mhm.
So my cousin was in with his family from California, and my cousin has always been the daredevil in the family, the extreme sport guy. If you can climb up it or jump off or out of it, he has likely done it.
Yeah.
So he's into ice climbing, skydiving, base jumping. He's done the squirrel suits, the wing suits kind
Oh,
of
squirrel
thing.
suits. Those are. I'd love to try that.
Yeah. So he's done all that stuff. So he was talking about doing a cold plunge, and then they were up here, and I was just like, okay, I'll do
Let's
it with
go.
you. Let's go. And he's like, "Oh, I was going to do it today. We didn't do it that day." I was like, he was like, "We should do it the next day. Let's just get it out of the way." I'm like, "Fine, let's just go do it." And we did. And he was surprised because I was just like, I beat him into the water. I went first. And he was like, "Whoa, you actually did it." And I set a timer. I started it as a yoga workout, and I was in the water for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And we're talking like, break through the ice water temperatures. So this water was probably 31 degrees.
Yeah.
It was horrible. And I did it again a few days later. So I did 2 cold plunges at the end of last year. I might try another one before we leave town here.
Yeah.
But the secret was just, go right in. The first time I didn't break out the phone. I wanted to get the camera and stuff, and I realized if I paused, I would, any excuse, I would just like, nah, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
The second time I was ready. I set up the tripod, I started it, and I recorded the entire thing. So I have documented video evidence of me taking a cold plunge, and you can see me staying in the water for 2 minutes before I come out. Does it have benefits? I have no idea. I felt effects. That's for sure. Like, my toes hurt for a solid like half hour afterwards.
Really?
My fingers and toes are the worst. So the first time we just went back to my aunt's house and just hung out in front of the fireplace to get the heat moving back in. The second time, we came straight home and jumped into the hot shower. So I'll do it again. If you're looking for bragging rights, that's something where most people are like, wow, that's crazy. You're insane. Or I could never do that or whatnot. So, and when I can, I'm kind of into that. I like a little bit of, is it exclusivity or uniqueness or, like, yeah, I did a cold plunge. Yeah. So that's definitely a factor of why I do some of these crazy things that I do.
What's funny, I didn't even consider that you wouldn't do it. I mean, you're like, well, my cousin didn't think I'd do it. I'm like, why? Hey, why wouldn't Peter do that?
Of course he would.
Of
He's
course he
that
would.
kind of crazy. You know?
Well, if it's a fitness thing too, I mean, well, and I don't, I don't know that I subscribe to the cold plunges as far as like, you work out and then you get into the cold tub,
Mhm.
and then I don't, I'm going to need more information
Yeah,
for that to be valid.
I think that information exists. So
Mm,
this is a great use of an AI assistant, be it ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Claude. Put it into research mode and have it
mm-hmm.
give you findings. I've even been using Amazon Alexa for stuff like this.
Huh.
I have Alexa Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Um, most days. Some days I have it on all my devices. Some days I have it only on one device.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of funny because sometimes it flips back to the old Alexa.
Mm-hmm.
It's unpredictable. I haven't found any sort of pattern on that. But I will ask it, like when I'm making coffee, hey, A word or E word in my case. Have there been any studies around how cholesterol from eggs affects your overall cholesterol?
Mm-hmm.
Because in the last couple of month or so, I have been eating more eggs recently.
Mm-hmm.
And allegedly, the most recent research is that it's not supposed to really affect your overall or your LDL cholesterol levels.
Mm-hmm.
However, coincident to my eating more eggs, my cholesterol levels have gone up. So, it's like causation, correlation, causation. I don't know. I need a little more data. But I've also been eating other more, things like meats and stuff and
Mm-hmm.
cheeses. And so I got to factor all that in. Um, I don't really want to go on an almost all vegan diet again, like I
Ugh.
did back in 2022. But I have shown I can make that change, and I was able to drop my cholesterol like 30 points when I did.
Mm-hmm.
There's also some school of thought that are saying, like, yeah, cholesterol, it might be high, but some people just run just fine on high cholesterol for a
Mm-hmm.
while, right? And mine is always like borderline high. According to my health insurance plan, it's high.
Mm-hmm.
According to my doctor and another online portal, it's borderline.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. But again, one of the symptoms of high cholesterol is cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, I'm looking for something a little sooner than that.
Are there any other warning indicators before that?
Yeah. And the warning enters are like, yeah, your cholesterol is high when you took a blood test. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
blast it.
Yeah, I'm at the same place. My cholesterol has always, even when I was in my 20s, it was on the higher side of normal. And then now that I'm late 40s, 50s, my late 40s, it started being on the borderline of being high.
Yep.
And my mother, apparently it's hereditary because my mother has it. And my mother's more
Yep.
stubborn than me. She's like, I'm going to get my cholesterol down. I'm not taking a stupid pill. I'm like, it's hereditary. It's not a failure upon your part. I mean, obviously, if you do bacon for 3 meals a day.
Yes. Now, but that's the thing is, can you, but if you start to really lower your cholesterol
Mm-hmm.
and then your daughters work to keep theirs lower, I
Mm-hmm.
think over time, your family tree, cholesterol levels will likely start to trend downwards. I think if you diligently control your cholesterol, I think that will trickle down. I'm not sure of that, and I'm not a doctor, and this does not constitute medical advice,
Yeah.
but I think that's how it works.
Yeah. And there are things that I mean, generally I'm not high in the cholesterol, but I do eat eggs. I eat my eggs over easy. Those have become
Yep.
my breakfast.
Yep.
Um, and I eat red meat, but I also eat a lot of chicken.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
I
I'm not,
mean, chicken tends to have less cholesterol than red meats.
hmm
Um, I have noticed I am more sensitive to black tea on a relatively empty stomach, causing a little bit of discomfort. And I just had a wave of very mild nausea, and I have been chowing down on this cup of black tea, and all I've had to eat today was a hard-boiled egg about an hour ago.
I know exactly
So,
what you're talking. Mine's usually coffee, and if I've had 3 cups of coffee and no food, it'll make me nauseous the first drink of water I take.
yep. It's that for me, it's the opposite. So coffee doesn't bother me. Coffee on an empty stomach is great for me. But tea on an empty stomach does not go well with me. So, yeah.
So all right.
Whew. Oh man. Okay, I'm good. I got this.
Good. All right. So we've really talked mostly about our New Year's. We probably ought to let our listeners off the line for the but
yeah, I mean, one of the things we did was time sensitive, and that was using your FSA for something like gym memberships and biometric trackers and shoes.
Yes.
So that time has come and gone for last year, maybe. But New Year, check it out. Especially if you have an FSA. If you have an HSA, I tend to keep that money and invest it, right? Because my HSA, I can direct it, and I have it in a target date retirement fund.
Right.
So I do that instead of usually spending my HSA fund. But if you have an FSA, just a reminder to the listener, if you don't spend that money, it's gone. So it's yours to spend. So spend it if you got it. And TrueMed.com, TRUEMED.com, lets you buy stuff right online through participating companies and stuff. Or for instance, what I did is you can go to Altra, ALTRA, running.com, and you can buy shoes there and use your HSA debit card or your FSA debit card to buy stuff. Amazon also has tons of things that are HSA, FSA eligible that you can just check out. You just use your debit card.
And they list them too. That's nice.
Yep.
So I looked at, you brought it to my attention, and I was like, I should look. So I can't get CrossFit marked as HSA qualified unless I get a doctor to say that I need CrossFit or some health benefit. And I would think being healthy would be a really good health benefit.
TrueMed.com, what they do is they will have a doctor review. You put in your attestation of what it is that you like your condition and stuff like that. And what I did is I did that for my running shoes. And I was like, yes, I have a knee issue. I have, arthritis in one knee. I had a meniscus tear in the other. And, I run and it makes it better. And they signed off on it. So TrueMed, they will have a doctor review your case. And if they deem it healthy, it's approved. And there you go.
Huh. Okay. So I guess I didn't fully understand that when you were explaining that. Well, in my HSA, I can actually choose when the service was provided. So I could even this year go back to say, through the last year I paid for CrossFit and it cost X and I need.
Yep.
Okay.
I did find out that my health plan does not provide reimbursements for gym memberships right now, the one I'm on.
Okay.
So I was like, darn it, so that didn't happen, but well. What you gonna do?
Yeah.
So, cool. Yeah. So I wanted to touch on that before we, lost it there. So we did. Yeah. We talked about our cold plunges. We talked about our New Year's resolutions. We talked about the moves method. Real quick, Nifty, I'll put in for this episode. I'm using it right now. Recent versions of Google Chrome have introduced a split tab view. So instead of necessarily pulling two different Windows out, you can right click on any tab and split the view between it and one other. And I'm using that now because I have the show notes in one tab and I have the Google Meet that you and I are recording on in the other. And that lets me focus on just these two
Oh,
windows.
I like that.
Yep. And
That's
that's
really
pretty nifty.
that is nifty, because I was wondering how you how you could do that, because and that's better than, like, with Windows you can't. I could have created two tabs and I could have snapped one to one side, one to the other, and that has
Mhm.
its own problems with keeping one of those two maximized.
Yep.
So that's nice, and of course Mac handles it
Yes,
differently than Windows does.
of
And
course.
well, and I'm not a 100% fan of the way Mac tries to help you in that. Like, I will click on a window and I'll click the space at the top to, like, grab it or move it, and all of a
Yep.
sudden it's maximized. Like, I didn't want it maximized. I just wanted to move it.
So here's a second nifty on that line. There's an app I use called Rectangle, and I
Mm-hmm.
pay for Rectangle Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you a lot better control over alignment of windows and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It has copious keyboard shortcuts that you can use to automatically position things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure I'm using, like 1/10 of its capabilities.
Yeah. You
But
wanted
it,
one specific thing and that fixed it.
yep, exactly. But you can, it has predefined things for like left half, right half, center half, top half, bottom half, top left, top right, top left, bottom left, bottom right, first third, last third, center 2/3,
Mm-hmm.
maximize, almost maximize height, center. It's got all kinds of really good presets, and I'm pretty sure you can do your own as well. And
Mm-hmm.
you can do custom stuff. So check out Rectangle. I think it was like $10 I paid for Rectangle Pro, and it's
Yeah.
definitely worth it.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think we were ready to wrap this episode up for episode
Back
1 of the new year.
back to you, Adam.
Well, listener, we would like your feedback. We thank you for joining us today. If you'd like to discuss a particular topic, you can drop us a line at www.blurringthelinespodcast.com. If you want to find out more about me or Peter, you can find Peter at peternikolaidis.com, yogawithpeter.com, and friendswithbrews.com. Or you'll find Scott Wilsey, our friend over there. And then you can find me at Roaming Roan Lavender Farm, rrlavenderfarm.com. All right. And with that, hit the big red button.
Hit it.